This is Lisa from Mobile Tech Review, and this is the Nokia Lumia 800. This is the Windows phone that you probably heard about, and no, it's not the Nokia N9 that we looked at just last week, even though it looks almost identical. Now if we take a look around the phone, you can see it's gorgeously designed. Got the volume controls here, the power. This is your dedicated camera key, which is a requirement for Windows phones. Up top we have these interesting doors, again just like the N9. This one tells you to push in, and if you do, it'll reveal the micro USB port for data transfer, and if you slide this over, it'll pop out the micro SIM carrier. This uses a micro SIM just like the N9 and like the iPhone. And here you've got the 3.5mm headphone jack. Nothing on that side. Curvy, pretty black back. There's your 8-megapixel camera, dual LED flash. And here we've got the speaker grill, same again as the N9. And in fact, if we put them side by side, you've got the Windows phone on the right hand, we have the Nokia N9 on the left, and boy do these phones look similar. And that's a good thing because Nokia is only making the N9 in limited quantities, and it's such a gorgeous phone we hate to see it go. So it's good to see that it's living on in the Lumia 800. In fact, even the box is much the same. You can see here, here's an unusual shaped box, and it lifts up like so. And then you've got your goodies inside. Printed material. USB cable, charger, and a set of earbud headphones. Nokia also includes a rubber gel case, which isn't bad looking. It actually matches the phone. You put this on and really the phone still looks just as nice as it did before you put it on, unlike a lot of other cases that change the appearance or add bulk. Now here's the deal. This is the European model. Nokia and Microsoft have not announced the United States launch date for the Lumia 800, so what you get in the box and what the box look like might change by the time it comes to the US. By the way, this one has quad-band HSPA plus 14.4 on the AT&T bands and overseas bands, 920, 100 megahertz for overseas, 850 and 1900. So it's all ready to be used on AT&T. Technically, this is an unlocked phone right here. This came from Europe. And we popped our AT&T micro SIM from our Nokia N9 into the phone to use it on AT&T. And performance has been just fine. The Nokia uses the same AMOLED display as the N9 again, but slightly different resolution, and it uses the same anti-polarizing technology. That means there's hardly any glare here. In fact, you can see that this phone is not glaring at the moment, and often we have a great deal of difficulty positioning a phone so it doesn't glare on camera. And it also uses Nokia's deep black technology, and again that means that you really can't see where the display itself ends and where the bezel begins because the blacks are so rich and deep. It's absolutely lovely. It's a very good match of display size to resolution. You certainly can't see any individual pixels here, and everything looks nice and sharp. Inside we have a 1.4 gigahertz Qualcomm CPU. That's a Scorpion CPU. It's a single core. Microsoft decided not to go dual core. They thought that it wasn't really worth the cost because there wasn't much of a performance benefit given the fact that the operating system is so well optimized for the single core CPU. It has 512 megs of RAM and 16 gigs of storage. Now, as you notice, there's no card slot anywhere on this phone. With Windows Phone, generally what you get inside is all you're going to get because it treats removable storage in a unique and difficult way, as Samsung Focus owners found out. It requires special formatting and all that kind of thing, so generally these phones don't have any user-accessible micro SD card slot at all. The phone has Wi-Fi 802.11n, Bluetooth, a GPS, it can do geotagging of photos, and it comes with Bing Maps and Nokia Maps. There's a little unique touch here. You get the Nokia Maps and Nokia Drive in addition to driving directions from Bing Maps on the phone. The display is Gorilla Glass, and it has just a little bit of a curve to it, which is very attractive and kind of neat. Phone dialer is pretty basic and minimalist here, and you can have access to your voicemail down here and your address book right there. and you can do a search for a contact right inside of there. Being that this is a Microsoft product, of course, it comes with Hotmail set up, and when you set up this phone, you do need to have a Windows Live or Hotmail address to set up the phone, so Microsoft can get your social networking, your email going, and so that you can set up an account in case you want to buy apps on the marketplace. Even if you just want the free apps off the marketplace, they do make you set up an account to get them, much like the Android market does, and obviously iOS. And again, since this is a Microsoft product, it also syncs with Exchange, but you can sync to things like Google too, so you can get your contacts and your calendar off of Google as well. It does POP3, IMAP, and Exchange email too. And we've got calendar here, and you can see you can create a new appointment just by tapping there, and there's the on-screen keyboard, small but still one of the best we've ever used. You get quiet little sounds when you're typing, and it's just very accurate. And here we've got our day view, and we can swipe to the agenda view, to-do list, and if you want a month view, you just tap here, and you can see the phone is just wildly fast. It's a very optimized operating system. Now, voice command and search are integrated into the phone in a very nice way. It's not as natural language and fun as Siri, but it still works well. So say, here I am on Bing, I can search the web, and I can search for other things too, local stuff, for example. Like there's my location scout right there. How if we just say something? Starbucks. And the first thing it does is find all the Starbucks that are near me. And if I just pick one, I can get directions, I can get the address, I can get the phone number, and I can visit their website. That's your Bing Maps, part of search. But you also get Nokia Maps on here too. Nokia Maps is still technically in beta, but it works just fine. You've got a button here to tell you where you are right now. You can search for stuff. Say I want to find Guitar Center. And there it is, it's found Guitar Center. What if I want directions? Pick that one. And it gives us a visual map of how to get there. And if you're a Nokia Drive and say you want to go someplace, it starts off by showing you where you are. You just choose Set Destination, and you can also choose between 2D and 3D maps. So you can see your options here. And we'll pick that Guitar Center. And this time we will pick one in Fort Worth again. And we can hit Drive to. Of course, this has the standard Zune music and video, which is pretty capable and fun. It's like what you've seen on other Windows phones, but we also have Nokia music here too. And when you set this up, it's also going to ask you to create a Nokia account if you don't have one already. And the UI, again, looks a lot like Microsoft standard UI. So you've got My Music for any content you have loaded. And it tells you you've got to sideload that, and that's the way Windows Phone works. You're going to sideload your music on here. That doesn't mean you can't use Slack or Radio with Spotify and other services, but for your actual tunes, there is no cloud syncing of the tunes. And you can see gigs that are going on in the area too. So that's Nokia Music. Honestly, the Zune client is so good, I don't feel like we need anything else. How about gaming? We've got Xbox Live Gaming on this, and that's been a strong point so far for some really nice high-quality games that run anywhere from 99 cents up to generally around $6.99. This is what you see at first, spotlights of some featured games. And then you can swipe sideways and see what you got in your collection. You can see your gamer tag and your avatar there. Gaming requests. So let's take a look at a game. We've got a demo of Jet Car Stunts, WP here. And one thing to note is that every single game comes as a trial. You can try it out first, so you don't have to spend the bucks and then say, oh well, that really stunk, wish I hadn't bought that. So that plays very well, and great screen, right? Really nice AMOLED colors, very bright. Pretty good speaker for sound effects too. And the selection of games is pretty good. Of course, like I said, we've got Need for Speed, we've got Super Monkey Ball, Doodle Jump, Angry Birds, Sonic the Hedgehog, The Sims 3, Sally's Salon for you casual games type. Quite a few games here to keep you entertained. Now how about the camera? The 8-megapixel shooter takes pretty nice shots and can shoot 720p video at about 30 fps too. And here's the interface that you see, very simple at first. You can tap on settings to go through all the available settings, controlling the flash, which scene you want, beach, backlight, candlelight, that kind of thing. White balance, exposure, ISO, metering mode, pretty advanced stuff. Nokia is pretty good at cameras after all. Focusing mode, you've got macro or normal. And aspect ratio if you want it widescreen or if you want 4:3. To take a picture, you use the shutter button. Right there, very fast. Again, very fast. If you want to switch to video, you just tap there, and you start shooting a video. And it's got that nice masked timer there so you can see how it does. And then you can review it. This is pretty good. Definitely a good solid 8 megapixels, which is a positive point because the first generation of Windows phones, well, they pretty much all had 5 megapixel cameras, and that wasn't really that exciting or inspiring. This is definitely a step up. So that's the Nokia Lumia 800, hopefully coming to the US in not too much longer. The phone runs on a 1.4 gigahertz Qualcomm single-core CPU. It has an 8 megapixel camera, a 3.7-inch AMOLED display running at 800 by 480. Usual Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and a GPS, and just a gorgeous design. I'm Lisa from Mobile Tech Review. Visit our website for the full review.